Yeah, just put your fireflies in.
Oh yeah, do that. That's perfect.
Done.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I've got Loom set up here, but it's a bit clunky.
Yeah, it's not that great.
We've been using fireflies pretty well across the company. I think everyone's pretty happy with it.
Yeah,
We use it a fair bit, Aaron, just to like reach back into meetings and like, hey, what did that customer say? And like be able to just search across meetings with customers. It's much easier.
I've got a feeling this AI thing might be big. What do you reckon?
In some things, I think
some things
controlled.
Some things.
What happens?
You guys weren't as enthusiastic about that comment as I thought you might be.
I'm super
still getting there.
I'm very cool. So Aaron knows I'm a very I'm the opposite like from a lot of the AI people.
What? So you're not using generative AI to write all your code?
No, we pretty much don't use it. We very rarely use it at all. We tried. We've had bits in it, but we've specifically used it in places that it makes sense, and not used it in places where we strongly feel that it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I think the problem is the bit that it's good at is never the bit that was slow for us. Like writing code, getting code written, that was the fast bit. That was always fast. Sitting down there and working out exactly what we want to do, that's really hard and takes a lot of time. And AI doesn't help with that at all.
No.
AI just gets rubbish into our code base really fast.
So do you have access to all the stuff Gomer's done?
Let me think. Maybe. I don't know if I can run it. I should be able to run it, but.
And who's doing all the talking? Because Aaron, you might want to go on mute during that because you're going to hear the background noise. But so maybe just to start, take me through. So here's what I understand this session is about, and I probably can't do much more than 45, 50 minutes. If that's right. Is that all right? So my understanding, this comes from a conversation with Aaron where I got quite excited hearing that you're doing, or you will be doing, DIY onboarding, not just effortless acquisition, right? So we're talking product-led growth acquisition, but customer is you're using. My understanding is it the Amazon Q or AWS?
I think Bedrock, and then we could use Amazon Bedrock. There, we tested with Gemini. We tested with pretty much most of them. It works. It doesn't really matter what you use, right?
But basically, allowing the customer to go through a self-service type process where the AI is effectively configuring at the back end the software, whereby a human doesn't need to get involved, and there they are off and running and using the solution, which is kind of the holy grail in SaaS at the moment. Like I'm talking to a lot of people, it's like, so that's why I was quite interested just to see. And look, if you guys just want to, if it's just proof of concept, etc., but just keen to understand where you're at, what have you learned?
Yeah, definitely. I think
when is it going to go live?
Yeah, well. The plan is before the end of the year. Like we're pretty eager to do it. Aaron, Gomer's going to make a video about automated test stuff and I'll be able to get it from him shortly after Stanley's finished there, and I'll grab that in a minute.
Yeah. So before we go into the demo, maybe just talk me through.
Yeah. So I think
it's the customer type and the solution and what you've learned. So
on the technical side, I think one of the reasons that I think we're going to be successful is that we are not doing what everybody else is doing, I think is the other big point. We're specifically not using AI in the bit that everyone's trying to use it for, and using it in a different part than they are.
And you just what is everyone trying to do?
Yeah. So there's a big thing at the moment where you write your software, it's all great. And then there's a huge push at the moment to say, but like testing it's hard, right? So let's make the AI like generate all the tests of how it all works and all that stuff, and we can make sure everything's stable and all that sort of stuff, right? And there's a huge push for that in the industry to say, we can just generate that stuff. It's really good, right? We're pushing back on that because we're using our tests for way more than what everybody else is using it for. So in my eyes, from our side, we have the code. That's fine. Our engineers understand the code, right? That's how it sort of works under the hood, right? And then we have the application. But if you just use the application, the engineers know what things are supposed to do, right? But on the website, a normal user logging has got no idea what things are supposed to do, whatever it is, right? So what we're actually doing is we built, so like massive launch this, we actually got 100% automated testing on the entire platform we're launching at. Like at launch, before launch, it's going to be 100% automated. We already have a huge test suite that runs fully automated, right? That runs, and at the same time actually runs constantly. So we actually have a live system with like fake people adding orders and all the stuff like all the time.
When
right?
you say test, you're not talking about bug testing or anything. You're talking
sort of
about
bug testing, but way further than that. Actually, like it logs into the system, it clicks all the buttons like a user would. It does everything that an actual user would do on our live system in the way that a user would interact, not in some like hacky way that sneaks behind the scenes. It actually can only click the buttons the user can click. It makes sure everything shows what it should do and all that sort of stuff, right? That's what people are automatically generating. The problem is just looking at the screen, it's hard to work out what things should do and shouldn't do, right? So what we've been pushing more hard on is we're getting our QA team to actually make sure that our testing scripts aren't just testing scripts. They're actually encoding what the system's supposed to do, right? So when it says this button should show this dialogue to say add a deal, like what's a deal? Well, it actually explains into it what a deal is and explains all that sort of stuff. And the big kicker on that is it makes it easier to write tests, way easier to write tests because it just makes sense with how it works. But the most important part is this means that an AI can read that and not only understand what the buttons do, but how everything puts together and how the buttons are supposed to work. And when that leads into the actual AI onboarding stuff is, because that's the holy grail of how the system works. We have the code, which is sort of like what actually things happen, but that the script we have actually defines, there's a button here that shows a box that you can add these things in, that's what it means. And when you close it, it should go there, all that sort of stuff encoded there. It means that it stays live all the time because we test on it. It has to be accurate because every release, it has to be 100% accurate with how the system works because we can't release without it being correct. But it means that we can feed that into the AI and suddenly it knows how things are supposed to happen. So when you say to it, hey, how do I add a quote? Well, it actually understands, well, I know what a quote is. A quote's inside this thing called deal. You have to press the add deal button to get there. It understands all these things in it. And where it gets really interesting is, as a really good example, our old system, we put buttons everywhere to make sure everyone could find what the buttons are. Discoverability is like, I don't know how to add this, let's just add a button everywhere, right? With the new system we're building really more hardcore on the simplicity of the UI to make it way less busy, way easy to use.
Yeah, right.
The downside is, as a good example, when you want to add a discount or a surcharge to a quote, there's no button called add discount or add surcharge. There's a button called add adjustment because there's an adjustment to the quote. When you click add adjustment, it says what sort do we want? There's a discount or a surcharge, all that sort of stuff, right? That makes sense. But if you've never used the system before and you want to add a discount, do you know you click the add adjustments button? Who knows that's what it is? Like, I don't know. Once you do it once, you're like, oh, that makes sense. It's an adjustment to the quote. I get it, right? But if you haven't seen it before, you've got no idea. The big thing is the script knows. The script understands exactly what a discount is and understands discount is an adjustment. So when a user asks the system, how do I add a discount? It goes, I know what a discount is. That's an actually adjustment. I'll tell them how to open an adjustment window and do all that sort of stuff. And it actually understands all of that. And what I don't have a good demo for it. I have been mucking around with just yesterday. It half works, not quite because we need to add some more tags on a thing. But what you can actually do with it, I've made a script. So effectively, I take that script that we've got in that God script of how the system works. And I essentially made a prompt to it that says, hey, can you make me, I would like to add a deal with a quote. I want to add an adjustment, a friends and family discount of $30, and then I want to add a $10 payment. How do I do that? And you press go, it says generating, and then it generates for you a fully guided tour on how to do exactly what you've asked it to do. Wow. So when you press go, it goes, first you press the add deal button, and it highlights it and points at it. You press the add deal button, then it says, great. Now here, type John Smith, because that's who you said you wanted to do it into this box here. It can also type it in there for you, but sort of try to lead them down the path. It's like, no, you need to type it in, right? Then it says here, then it says add the thing. Then it says, now to add a discount, you have to actually add an adjustment. In the little box that comes up, it actually explains to you, like in Quoterite, we define a discount under this adjustment things. So here, add adjustment, then it says, great, now choose from this combo box, this type, all that stuff. And the best thing is that any time in the process, you can stop and you can ask it more things. You'll be like, what does that mean? So you can ask it, hey, what is that thing? And it can tell you exactly what
it's almost like you got this little onboarding agent sitting next to you.
Correct.
Go here, go here, go
Correct.
here.
100%. So it's like,
but not like a how-to video, but actually walking you
1000%
through the process on screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Or can do it for you too.
But the big thing is, it can also do it for you, right? But the biggest point is though, I don't know if you guys have ever had onboarding things you've logged in. It says, do you want to do the thing? And I'm like, this is going to tell me a bunch of stuff I don't care about right now, right? I don't have the brain space to learn about how to add a user when I want to do something else, right? Yeah. So giving me this wizard is useless. However, if I could log in and say, I just want to do one specific thing, tell me how to do that, and I could get a guided tool on how to do that, I'd be totally down for it, right? But normally I'm like, I'll just find the buttons, I guess, and fumble through, right?
So freeform text, hey, I want to create an order with a discount and blah, 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 type it in, and then it'll basically create the tour on the fly and then take you through. If you've got an example, you can show me.
I'm trying to find one.
It's also voice active too. So the big thing is that a lot in our industry are bad with tech. So we wanted to make it where you can type it, but you could just talk to it and just tell it what you want. It'll go voice to text and then perform the functions. So it's guided. It's sort of that personalized expert with you that can show you, but then just go, can you just do it for me?
Nice.
And it will just do it and ask you what to do.
I don't have a full demo, but I can show at least what we've managed to get it to do. So what I just show you here. So we've got this thing here effectively. This is like the prompt that we're just testing on Gemini. So it's like we tell the thing, you're an expert in making automation and guided tours. I need you to make a concise thing here. This is how you make it, blah, blah, blah. And I've got here, the user has asked the following question. I need help creating a deal for a customer, John Smith. I want to create an empty quote customer at a friends and family gives $30. We also want to create an offline payment of $30 for the deal. I have no idea how to do any of those things, right? I've just opened the log. I've just logged in. There's nothing else here, right? There's an add button. Maybe that works. So then it says, and then I say, great. I've attached the full God script that we have internally that says this is how it works. And it says, can you please do it? So what happens in the end, I've just mucked around with it, but essentially this is what it generates at the end, right? So just to show you what we're using here, using a library called Shepherd. And what this does is if I go to demo here, this is what it creates, right? So you press the button, it comes up and says, here's a thing here. Here's the thing that can point to it, highlights all that stuff. You press next and it says, great. Now this is how this works. Next, you go through, it tells you what to do and it points at specific things on the screen so you know what it does. It can link to stuff and everything in this text here is fully customizable by the AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what it's generated here is this walkthrough, right? So it's like first you click the add button to create a new deal, here to here, there's some buttons next. And it's like enter the name. Then it's like type John Smith and select the correct contact in the list there. You click create to save the new. And then it says now you want to click add quote to do this. And now I haven't trained it to be a bit more informational because we can have different sorts of AIs depending on your user on how really like heavy it wants to be on. I'm explaining to you all these things or just I want to get something done. Right, two very, very different sort of personas that we're looking at for the AI. Then it says create. Now it says now let's add a friends and family discount. Click add adjustment, right? Again, you wouldn't have known to click that button without this point here, right? Enter friends and family, you click next, enter 30 for the discount amount, click apply. And the thing that's really interesting is it actually understands what you need to do to get back to screen because it understands how everything put together. It doesn't just go add an adjustment. You're like, where's the button? And it's like, oh, well, it knows the modal's open and it knows you need to press OK. And then it knows you need to close that one to get to the other screen to be able to get to the other button there. Because again, it says select offline as payment method, select 30 is the payment amount, goes through this, and then it says at the end, like we're done. And again, as Aaron said, it could do it for you as well, but it can also guide you through exactly on how to do everything you want to do in the system.
So is Shepherd like a third-party plugin with the app that sits alongside?
It is a tiny, all it is a tiny plugin that just allows us to send from the front end, from the AI, Jason about make this guided tour, right? That's all it is. It's a tiny plugin and people use it like quite.
So given it's created that code, can I see what it looks like in product?
As I said, that's the only thing I can't demo yet because we haven't quite finished. The only reason I can't, it should work. The only reason I can't is
never trust an engineer.
Our testing script has access to some things that I don't have access to in Chrome itself. So our team is currently, the only reason it doesn't work is like the add deal button. In our testing system, it knows that's the add deal button. In Chrome itself, it doesn't. So we just need to add some more tags to say, this is the button to click on, which is like a no-brainer to add on. And that's what they're working on at the moment to finish this up for me so I could do a proper POC. But like it does work, right? Like if we could run through my testing script, 100% will work. And I've made it like I hard-coded to say that's where the button is. And it just points to the add deal button, click add, and all that sort of stuff. But it's sort of that, the big difference though they're trying to hit is the reason we're not AI generating this core script is, in my mind, that's the God script of how the system is supposed to work, right? It needs to be done by humans. It needs to be done by people who understand what things are, because we're feeding that into the AI.
And then you train the AI. So if that's how the system works, when I'm asked a series of variables about input into the product, it can go back to the God script and go, okay, well, I know how to do that. Here it is. And then
The best thing is it actually knows what the system does and doesn't do as well, right? So you can actually ask it, how do I do this? And it actually can say back, sorry, the system doesn't support that right now. Do you want to add a feature request for it? There's a button here, you can add it, we can do that. But it even understands what it can do and can't do at a global level, right? Not just like a finer level. It knows across the board. Like the system's not really designed for that, because we can actually put all in there, and we're spending a lot of time actually putting human words in there to say, this is what this button does, right? As a human, right? In some words, that means the AI can take that and interpret it in the way it needs to then redo it for you. And again, the cool thing is we can have different personas. We can have the power user one. We can have the, I'm a complete newbie. I don't even know the industry. I don't even know what a blind is. Like, can you help me here? And where it comes in even further is it digs. That's just on how to use the system. Where it gets further down is our configurator that we built, a new one, actually can output, again, format in human language for the AI to be able to read. So it can actually understand the products in the system. So not only is it, how do I add a deal? It's actually, how do I add a roller blind? Actually, what's the max size I can make for roller blinds if I'd like it motorized in the green fabric? Right? So it goes through, it takes the engine that goes, I know what a roll blind is. It gets the output of that that's designed for LLM input, right?
So you can train it on product.
It knows it, yeah. It has access to all that product.
But it knows our product in human language, because that's what AI needs to do, right? And it's in a language that no human could interpret, because it's like 1,000 pages, right? But an AI could read it. And so what it does is it means that the product team encode the logic really complicatedly, get it to work in the system. We then take those rules and output it in a format that it's just human speech. It just goes, for this size, the max motor size is 50. And it's like, if there's 1,000 statements, you're not going to find it as human. But the AI can find that in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, and the great thing is we can enrich it too. So we can take that 1,500 page manual from the supplier and we can ingest that into the AI and go, well, this manual goes with that brand. So we can even get the AI to help on our main admin to go, well, tell me, does it match? What's the problems? And enrich that data for the user. So it's the big thing we're pushing is it's that 24/7 expert, but it's more than your product expert. It's more than your system expert. It actually goes down to the next level of your business operations expert, where the whole system is built so that we don't want settings. We don't want lots of different buttons and configurations. So when a user comes in, they have the ability to tell AI what's their business logic, to go, hey, every 7 days, can you generate a list of all of my quotes that I haven't followed up with curtains in them? And if they're over this value, I want you to generate an email and send that to all my customers every 7 days. So things like that, things like, can you every 2 weeks, I want you to generate an email to each supplier and put it in the list, all the different orders that aren't delivered or are past due, and send that to each supplier, and so they can respond. And so instead of having all these buttons and things to do stuff, it's more like, just tell it, encode your logic. And obviously we can take that human speech input, just talk to it and tell it. It'll convert that into text, which we can then use to fully automate every process. Like, can you tell me if someone does over discount, or literally anything they do in their business, you just tell it and teach it. Same for things like discounts. Like, there are so many variations in how people restrict discounts, like per product, per rep, time, sales, you name it. And we can't encode it, but what we can do is let the user tell it what to do. That can then generate the script for us, and then we can then say, this is what the script will do.
So I think one of the big part that, again, that's really different though, Chris, is that this isn't some system that runs in the back end that just does all this, right? What it is because the system knows how to use the system, it's just doing it like you would. It's just doing it 24/7, all the time. So it can very easily go, do you want me to show you how to do it? I can just show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the quotes. I'm going to filter it like this. I'm going to click each one. I'm going to write an email. I'm going to click send, right? You can see what it's doing because it actually uses the UI to do it. It doesn't have some backend thing that it just like, we have to build some other thing to be able to do these automations. So it's having a human. It's like having another human, an intern that you got next to you going, here's my giant list of things to do. Can you just every day go through this list and do it? But don't make any mistakes, right? Do it properly. Confirm with me before you do stuff. All that side of things is the big part that we are pushing in.
So you mentioned Gemini and you mentioned this product Shepherd. what's at the core of this? Is it just a simple case of using those, or is there something more than that?
The biggest core difference is we're pushing hard on realizing that the AI can only be as good as the input that's pushed into it. So what we're doing very strongly on, instead of leaping into this AI world that everybody else is doing now, we're taking a step back and going, we can use it, but if the inputs are bad, the outputs are going to be bad. So what we're doing is spending time, non-AI parts of going, we need our inputs to be as designed for the AI, all that sort of stuff, right? As a technology-wise, it's nothing, Chris. It really isn't. It's like Shepherd, like for little guided tours. And pretty much the only other big thing that difference to us, though, the massive differentiating factor is we've got a full customization layer built into our application. So what happens is the AI just generates the customizations, and it can actually run it there. And that's where the critical part that differentiates us from the other people, as Aaron said on this, like understanding of like restricting discounts. What we have is a fancy, effectively code that we can write in our language, right? To say, when you make a quote, run through all this business logic that is for your company. Chris isn't allowed to quote stuff that's bigger than 3 meters because he always screws it up, right? So don't let him put it through. Aaron is not allowed to do shutters, right? When Ryan does it, max discount 10%. Unless it's a roller blind, then it's 15% across the board. I can type all that stuff out. It can generate a script for us that then sits in our customization layer, and that runs on your system every day. So when you have an issue, I think the biggest thing is when you're sitting there and you're like, dude, Aaron fucked up again. He just can't do this anymore. I'm like, oh, hold on. Hey, AI, can you make sure Aaron, like, it warns Aaron if he tries to do this, or don't let him make a quote, right? Don't let it go through if he adds one with a shutter over 5 meters. Just type it in. It generates the new customization scripts that replace the current one you have. And now that runs every single time you make a quote, right? It checks. And when Aaron goes to make one next, he's like, what the hell? You can't, Aaron, please check with my man. Oh, fine. Right. But the thing is, it's actually customized to you. It says in there, Aaron, check with Chris. Here's his phone number, right? Any orders over this big, you can't do, right? And that's the big killer point, is that it's customized to them, because that's actually what people want, right? They don't want 1,000 functions they need to learn how to use. They just want the system to be the way their business runs. And I think that's the killer part of it, is purely because of this customization layer we built into the system. This is where the AI just slots in perfectly. It just auto-generates those customizations that we built for the system to work in.
Amazing.
Right, is the biggest part.
Once this is kind of operational, I mean, customers won't be able to switch it off, right? Because it just becomes so
the best part, right? As I said to Aaron, like, imagine, like, but I think some of the other stuff that we're doing very more carefully is a bunch of the AI stuff on, like, understanding that it's like a shitty intern, right? It's like you've got an intern in who doesn't know anything about window furnishings, doesn't know anything at all, and you've just gone, can you, like, just tell me about these things, and put like sticker notes on stuff that's looks weird and hinky, right? And then it lets you know, this is the stuff that they said looks weird and hinky. This is what we suggested to do, but you actually have to press the button, right? On that first pass of really getting that trust in the system to say, it probably shouldn't just randomly send emails to your customers. You probably want to check that it doesn't say something weird and all that sort of stuff. But all the hard work of getting it there is done for you. Like, in my mind, it's just like bank feeds in Xero, Chris, right? You literally go in and you're like, that's great, that's great, that's great, that's great. Like, holy shit, I've saved like hours of time, but I was still the one that had to approve it, right? And I think that's that bit that we're pushing hard on getting into very, very strong at the beginning, because that is the bit of the industry that's just boned right now. Everyone is rolling this shit out. There is so many security issues. It's doing all the stuff that it shouldn't do, because it's all getting access. The AI is getting access to stuff that's just terrifying.
The big headspace change too was realized, like, on our website, we don't actually have a list of products anymore. We won't on the new one, because we're actually not selling a product. Like, we're not selling a retail system. If we were selling a product, it's a fixed thing. What we're selling is solutions for different persona groups. And that's the way our websites, the new ones, getting designed, is that, well, what does a 1 to 4 user need? What's a 5 to 10? What's this? So it's an infinite level of products, because there's an infinite amount of things you can do with the system. It just grows and adapts with you, and you get to do it through AI with no training, no nothing.
Wow.
And so there's sort of built-in companion that we're building in there's going to be, we're going to pre-build them for the different personas.
Yeah.
Right? So you launch out and it goes, great, by the way, here's the buddy that's there to do stuff. And it's not like all the other websites, a little chat bot and you have to tell it, right? This is like another worker that you now have you're running in your business, right? Everything you can do in the UI, it can do for you and just let you know about stuff. So we've got in the system the ability to effectively add like alerts and events to anything in the system, right? So the AI goes through and just like tags stuff, like it's a sticky note, like this looks weird, this also looks weird, this looks weird. And then when you're using the system, you're like, oh, I can just look all the weird stuff that I need to deal with. And I know that someone is constantly going through making sure that I don't have things that don't have a deposit. I don't have stuff that are too late. I don't have all these things, right? These I forget to follow all that stuff.
It's sort of the utopia of software, isn't it? Which is there's no training. Like it's just
that's the biggest spot. That's 100% the biggest spot, right? And I think
that's the grinds. Like the core users, that 75% for us globally is 1 to 4. And they are, you know, the core things is they're time poor, they're sick of, they don't know if the software is going to work, and there's like the key roadblocks they have, not knowing if the software is going to work, are they incorrect products, they don't know, you know, even training new staff can take 6 months.
Yeah.
So all of those core things we know that are problems, that's what the AI is designed to be, to go, well, your new staff is now a product expert, they're a system expert because they know how to use it. It's monitoring all my new staff. I don't have to do all the costly back end. Like when I was in retail, we were basically 1.5 admins per salesperson.
Wow.
Right. Super heavy. So you go, well, that's the biggest cost for any business in this industry. So if we could halve that and make the onboarding easy, everyone's better and a product expert, then why not? And then it's marketing, it's reporting, it's analytics too. Like there's so many reports people want. Instead of writing them, we can just ask AI and it will generate it. Or the problem between quoting for 5 windows is very different than quoting for 300. It's too complex on the UI, but AI can do it if I feed it in Excel and say, can you put this in? And then can you export it out in Excel for me? Or can you do this? It bridges that gap between complexity and simplicity, and it's way too hard to use, too many buttons. It's just super basic, but it's kind of one God button that does everything.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the biggest part though, Chris. Like I think what really made us realize we need to go down this path is very quickly we're going to get to the point otherwise that we're building these ridiculously complicated features for people that use one in a blue moon, but we know they need them, right? And they're really difficult, right? It's like bulk edit all the products in this quote. It's like, well, you've got like curtains and like everything's different. They're different measurements. Like there is so much variability here. To make a tool to make you better is really hard, right? And the only reason you don't click each one individually, it's going to take you like 3 hours, right? But the AI's got 3 hours. The AI can do it in like 5 minutes, right? So instead of you going, can you change all of these blinds to blue? We don't have to design a feature that is like some bulk edit and you choose this and you choose the color, you choose blue, all that sort of stuff. You just say, change one to blue. And it's like, all right. So it goes through every one of them, just like you would, and you just go get a coffee and come back and you're like, great, it's done, right? And that's what you were able to do to keep that simplicity of the software. I think that's the killer point that we are pushing hardcore on is how do you keep the UI simple, but allow them to do complex things, right? That are time consuming, right?
Yeah, because the software is configurable, but like you say, to expose that in a UI where you've got all the configurable variables and toggles and everything, it becomes unusable.
And nobody wants to. And the problem is we end up training people on how to edit the settings and spend more time training them how to set it up. They do once a year, right? Than on actually using this. Because
that's retail.
The old system has got we got max discounts in our old system per customer, but then it's like per employee. And they're like, yeah, but there's max discount like per category. And then they want all this sort of stuff. And you're like, really? There's only actually 3 rules. Aaron can't quote curtains over 5 meters. Chris has only got a discount of this. Like you can say it in about 5 sentences, but for our system to encode that is like months of development work, an insane admin interface to manage it, training them on how to use the admin interface or getting us to do it, all that stuff. Or we go, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to have one thing that is in a code that they can't write, but we can translate using AI to that code and then run it for you. So
the critical thing here, whether it's Quoterite or any other software company, is to have the ability to code customization, but you've got this translation layer which says, you know, I want to do this, which could be really freaking complex, but then you've got the customization and it basically codes it all for you. And
it's exactly the same technology we use for our freight, and exactly why we designed it this way, because we know that when our manufacturers want to calculate freight, they say, oh, we want to charge freight people. Like they say to us, yeah, it's just a flat fee, right? And they're like, oh, except that one is 10%. And then that one. And so when we first did it, the first customer that said, I want to do this, we're like, we developed something way more complicated than this person needs, right? And they did it. And then suddenly like the next day, they're like, actually, and these go in boxes of 4, right? And it needs to ship a minimum of 3 boxes. It can't do all this, right? And it's charged $20 per box, but the 5th box and more is $30. And you're like, holy shit, I can write this in like 5 minutes in my coding language. I can write this in 5 minutes. To develop a UI to let you input this, or to get our tech support people, that's going to take like 5 months, right?
Yeah, and they're never going to fucking learn it as well.
And the debt's too high as well. Then we have to maintain it. So we can, with AI, we can be nimble with less tech debt. And the learnings from AI is understanding where are people getting stuck, what are they asking, so that we can then make the system better.
Yeah, but the other huge point, Chris, on that, just for reference, is it's actually not just about the customization. It's actually about the blast radius of issues. So if we screw up someone's freight script because they told us something weird, their freight's broken. Nobody else is affected because everybody else's runs their own script. And when we change one, it only changes yours. The system doesn't break. It's just your bit doesn't work the way you wanted it to work in your customization layer. So what we do is ensure that the base is ridiculously stable and works perfectly for everyone across the board. And then the customization layer is a little bit more like wibbly wobbly because it's your logic, right? Yeah. If it said, if the email is chris.read@blah.com and you went and changed your email address, well, the script's not going to work anymore. But that only affects you. That doesn't affect any other customer because your script is written for you. And the other cool part that we're talking about is actually the inverse as well. So what we can actually start doing is actually then we take their input in text, we save our fancy script, but then we can actually read the script and tell them stuff out of it as well. So they can actually go, hey, what is the max size Aaron's allowed to quote? You can just ask it, what is the max size Aaron can quote? And it goes, well, you've got some logic in it that says Aaron's allowed to quote 5 meters if they're curtains, but everything else, he's allowed to do whatever he wants, right? Again, they didn't have to go back to their text of their 50 lines of stuff. The AI can translate back to say, this is your fancy script. So a really good example of the freight is a perfect one. They can actually go, if someone's like, how do you charge freight for this thing? You're like, you know what? I don't actually know. Like Quoterite encoded it. I don't really know how it works. They just go, how do we do this? And it comes back and goes, well, I've read the script, and it translates back to English to go, you got this thing where it needs to be 4 a box, right? And you charge a minimum of $20. And it's like really succinctly one line answering your one question about your freight, rather than going, here's the giant script, right? Try to translate that into English. So like the AI can translate it back as well, which is the other big part. That is pretty amazing.
This is like, how many, like I know you've got other contacts in the industry, Ryan. I mean, this to me is kind of like the holy grail. I haven't come across other software companies doing it like this, which like you know, you guys literally on the leading edge with this stuff, or you?
I don't know anyone else doing this either. Like it's
give me a fucking talk.
It's just a very different way to design. So I think the problem is that it's come from my pain of all the startups I've been at, right? Building in this ridiculous stuff for one customer into the system that just suddenly hampers all innovation going forward, right? Because I think the problem is that there's two camps, right? You either assume everyone's different and try to go crazy on customization, building the system everywhere and make everything hard. Or you do the opposite and you go, we're only going to design for just the standard customer and everyone else can get fucked, right? And the problem is nobody wants either of those things, right? No customer actually wants those things, right? What they want is your base stability that works exactly what I want, really secure, like stable, doesn't crash, but having an ability to add that customization on that makes it for me, right? You get that holy grail of how do I get the economies of scale for custom software, right? Whilst not having to go, well, oh crap, the software makes orders this way. I guess that's just how I have to change things to do it, right? So a lot of it came from that level of changeability and that, because, you know, I ran my own software company. We wrote bespoke software for customers, and we literally came in, did workflow analysis for them and said, we're going to build a software that works the way your company works. Rather than you buying software that works the way they want and you trying to modify it, we're going to build it for you. And they loved it. They actually loved it. The problem is it's ridiculously expensive, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's maintaining for one.
right?
It's a new concept in software itself
Right.
to go,
Yeah.
how do you build a system without building a system?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Yeah. And so I think that's what
Involved
we're
in
building.
software companies that have done just that. And it's fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and I've been at so many people that you go and like, what the hell is this code? Like, oh, like that whole module in the system that we test every single time is that one customer. And you're like, and then you find out, are they even our customer anymore? And you're like, nah, they only like did a trial and they're not with us anymore. And you're like, and it's still here. And they're like, yep, it's still here, right? And I think that's that bit that just kills everyone to just go, oh, that's how it works. So essentially what we end up is having these layers of, this is the crazily stable stuff we're happy with. This is like the hacky layer that we know is going to be, it's going to be clumsy, it's going to be breakable, all that sort of stuff, right? But people are prepared to deal with that difference, right? They're like, oh, I see, it's a customization, right? But the other really, really interesting part about the whole part with this, and I'm sure Aaron's talked about like this idea of having pretty much free users using it, is that letting them still pay for customization to the free software. So they can still pay, right? And we'll customize it for you. And what happens is they become sticky in a way that they wouldn't, like, they remember that they spent $500 customizing the software, right? They're happy to not worry about all the monthly fees they got charged. But because they spent this money making the software their own, it becomes a different level of stickiness in their mind, right?
So let me get this right. So the client trains the software to build customizations. So there's a perception that, hey, I've added this layer of value, and then you attach a charge to that effectively.
Yeah, so we essentially say, yeah, like you can just pay us and we'll help, like if you want humans involved. So the AI can generate it for you, but like there's limits on how good it's going to be. And as I talked to Aaron before, there's like ability to say like, hey, can you validate, like, can I pay you some money and you'll validate it is doing what I want it to do and walk you through it. We'll get our devs involved. We'll get it all. We'll get it sorted. That's fine. And now you've paid some money to us. You're still using the software. You're not paying anything else, but you paid money. There's that sunken cost feeling that you've invested in the software.
The cost to you guys in building that's pretty minimal, right?
Very, very minimal, right? And even if
you might need a developer to go and get in. Well, I don't know. Do you?
We probably would on the validation, right? We can. But the important part is the ability level of that developer can be quite low because two things. One is super contained. Like, hey, look at this one script and tell me it's right or not. Right? That's it. You don't need to understand how the system works. You don't understand any of that. You just need to understand this. You don't understand one language and you can just read it. So it really confines the requirement of those developers we need to test it, right? Yeah. And obviously the AI has already done its first pass, right? It's already checked that it's mostly good, right? You're now just being the human in the loop to say, look, AI is not perfect, right? We'll tell people it's because we know it's not, right? So we'll get a human in the loop to check it, but it's a really, really confined thing they're looking at. And they also know the blast radius is small, right? They're like, look, if this breaks, what can't you do? Can't calculate freight. That's it. The rest of the system works. It's just in this very specific use case, it's going to error and say, I don't know how much freight is, right? Yeah. Or in the case of that, the error will come and say, like, I can't validate this quote because there was something wrong with your customization script to work out your validation. So it's just going to error here. We can fix it. The rest of the system works, but that part doesn't, right? Yeah. And it's that level of like understanding where those layers are, but it really is the bit of them understanding they're investing. It's not them paying $30 a month and they know they're never going to get their money back. I get it. But it's like I was saying to Aaron, it's like Foxtel, right? If you bought a Foxtel box, you pay $300 and you got the box and you pay monthly for it versus someone who's paying for Netflix. The person will cancel the Netflix way before Foxtel because they're like, but I paid like $300 for that box over there, right? And you're like, but you're paying way more for Netflix. Like, that's insane, right? But it's in their mind. They've invested in a system. They've invested in buying a thing. It's not just a monthly fee I can't get back. I've invested in it, right? And so in our mind, a free, they can still invest in the system. They can, and the other cool thing is we can make custom products for them, even on the free one. Like, we'll make a custom product for you. We just charge per hour. It's not very much really for one product. Now the system is customized to your usage in a way that you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to learn how the system worked. You didn't have to do any of that sort of stuff.
That's what you want
for you. And then the only time you need to pay us again is if you want to change. And that's it. And then that becomes.
I think the other really interesting takeaway from this is that the product no longer is these sort of subscription 1, 2, and 3 set features. You get this. It's kind of like, it's just like this pool of stuff. And depending on your business, you get access to everything or just a slither of that.
Correct.
I mean, you price that, I guess you guys working that out, but it's a
but
really,
it just becomes, it becomes,
It's a shift in thinking about how software can be packaged and then deployed, right?
Yeah, it is a change. And the big change is, it's just, it depends how much money you want to spend. If you're a small company and you want to spend thousands of dollars customizing it, go for it, right?
Yeah.
If you're a massive company and don't want to do that, go for it. We don't actually care. And I think that's the big thing of like that change in mindset to say, it's not about these like tiers and levels you're at. It's just, how much do you want to spend, right? You can fix, and I think the biggest problem we want to tell them is, oh, I wish the system would do this. It can.
So how do you price it? So obviously there's, you know, some customers are going to use everything versus ones that are going to use slithers. So how, in that, before customization, how do you think about pricing it?
It's free to, so with the free model is just limited. Like a free model is designed so that it will do what all our competitors will do.
And that's ordering
80%. So yeah, so you can quote products, order online.
You're monetizing based on clipping a ticket, so they can use it to order, but then
so well, it's free. They don't even have to use our Stripe to start, but it's limited on how many quotes it can do a week and things like that. But then if they upgrade to use Stripe and they process a minimum amount per month, then it opens them up to more features where it's pretty much all of it. But if you want the full, they can use all the AI that's there, but if you want, and sort of the free model is mainly read only and basic AI. And then as they get to Stripe, they get access to more, and then paying us the full subscription is read and write, and I guess the full custom script that we want to do. So we're just limiting what they can do in Logic.
So that pointy end where you're offering it for free with limited number of quotes, for example. So that's basically from you a statement of confidence that once you get them, that's an acquisition play, which is, I'm going to use this as like, holy shit, this is so much easier. And then it leads on to, well, I might as well just start running my whole business using this product. Is that?
Yeah, 100%. I think, and the other point is that what we're doing, and interestingly, we're trying to price pretty hardcore on that sort of stuff on actually based on our costs. So essentially, the way it works is we can give it away for free. If it costs us nothing to run, there's no humans involved in it, I don't care. Like, I don't care that you're using it for free. It doesn't damage us, doesn't cost us anything whatsoever. But as you said, it's a massively hot lead, right? Where it's like, here's a carrot, just sign up for Stripe and you get all this other stuff. Also, or don't. It's like that case of like, we don't actually mind, right? We're happy to use the software. You're not like biding our time for us to like do all this crazy stuff. It's like, it's free for it. We don't intend to charge you.
What do I get, Ryan? What do I get for free?
So you get to use essentially is, and this is modeled on a lot of the tech companies that are now coming out, right? We have a bunch of software we use right now, 100% for free. And it's insane how much value we get from them, but they're free, right? And they're free forever, massively generous free tiers and all that, because most of their company, they only get paid, 10% of their customers pay for 100% of their users. 90% of their users on these are completely free, right? But the 10% pay way more than enough for everyone else, right? Yeah. The big thing is, it's not a limited plan. It's not a, like, this is a free trial and we're going to force you to do it. The intention is, it's going to be designed very specifically for a 1 to 4 user company that operates completely normally in a normal way. You can run your business for free. That's it. And that's what we're going to force our things to be. It's not a...
So talk me through the features, then I get
everything. Yeah, so you can go in, you get a standard workflow, a standard workflow we designed for a standard 1 to 4 user company, right? You can add quotes, you can add products, you can order automatically from your suppliers. There's a calendar, you can book appointments. You can do all these things here. The big thing it doesn't work, and the big thing again on cost-wise, you can't connect to your Google Calendar. You can't do some of those things because they cost us money to maintain and run, right? As soon as you put Stripe in, connect to your Google Calendar, use fancy AI, do whatever you want there, because we can cover our costs and then some very easily on it. But what we do is we just restrict it to go, you can run your whole business. You should be able to like go out, do all that sort of stuff.
So I get the free, I get that you're going to start charge, obviously taking a clip on Stripe. Where do you get the uplift then in terms of your SaaS revenue? Like what switches on?
The big switch is, and again, what I think is really interesting is you don't pay, like when we talk this customization stuff, you pay to get access to the customization feature, but then it becomes, you pay money on how much you want to customize, right? So there's a base level cost to say, I would like to be able to customize the system. And that's where that SaaS MRR comes from. Access to the customization layer, right? That's what we charge for. But then it becomes scalable to go, now you've got access. This is your fixed monthly, right? If you want it really, really fancy, well, you just spend more money on us on this sort of more
So this is
need for it.
It's
So
still per user.
AI
still per user.
becomes the pricing mechanism effectively. So you're basically shifting from a per feature model to now an AI customization model. That's a big shift, guys. I mean, have you modeled it out? Like, is that
The main thing? It's all
not-
about cost though, right? Like a lot of it comes down to that raw cost on us. Like realistically, and as I was talking to Aaron before, right? I was like, if you could, how much would we pay to get a lead per year at the level of like warmness that some of these customers are, right?
Right.
That's the question, right? And I said to Aaron, this is how much the AI might cost us a year per user. It was like, Aaron's like, we'd easily pay more than that for the same.
But coming back to your point, you know, customers associate, but like, am I going to run my whole business for free? There's this perception I haven't paid anything, so that feels odd. It's like it can't be that good if it's fucking giving it away.
It's more that it will run for free, but there are limitations in it. Like for example, the quote PDF, like there's only going to be 2 templates. That's it.
Right.
Mind you, so it's like that'll be limited.
Yeah. So
I think you got to do both. I think you want a freemium model, but you want to restrict functionality. So
yeah, no, definitely,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so
So
the intention is you can run your whole business, right? But a very specific persona of people with the level of all these people we know, they're going to want to have a custom PDF. What do you want? I want my fancy. I don't want like powered by, I want all that. I want it to be more fancy. Great.
Yeah.
Well, here's the credit card spot. Just put your credit card in. You can do it. And I think that's the big thing to us to say, if you want to use it for free and you're happy with, sure. But we make sure that you understand there are these limitations, and most of them are like there is like feature-based limitations, sure, but a lot of them are just cost-based limitations too. On our side, to just go, you want to keep it for free, we need all this sort of stuff. That's fine. But it's that honestly, it's the customization that we know every one of these customers actually want is what's behind the paywall. And pretty much we know most of them will hit it. But the big thing that we want to hit is there's a few customers, a bunch of them, that was never going to pay for the customization. They sell one roller blind a month because their company sells roller blinds and flooring and a bunch of other stuff, right? So they sell one roller blind a month. We go, well, it's free, right? Just use it. You can sell one roller. We don't mind. But when that company starts growing and like, hey, we want to expand our roller blinds business, we're like, you already use our free software. Do you want to use that?
Maybe not from the point of view is higher volume of customers, lower cost and entry.
Correct.
That you can
win that. It's knowing that free tier, it's cheaper to get people in on the free tier, even if it's a small cost to us, knowing that if they're a 1-2 user and we can get them on easily and they can see how easy it is and see the value, and certainly limit some of their features and functions, but making sure they can still run their business, then at the same time, we know they're already using credit cards from someone else. So for them to just switch to our Stripe payment is a no-brainer because they're paying the fees anyway. We'd just rather get 2,000 clients next year on a free system, get 1,000 of them to start using Stripe, even if they're not paying us monthly for the seat fees because they wouldn't anyway. It means they get access to more features, but it also means that our current clip's 0.71 margin, we're making it on it. So for 1,000 customers and they're doing $1 million a year and we're doing 0.71 on that, that's not bad. And they may be customers we would never get. And then we can take them from Stripe, knowing that, you know, if you've got 40 users or 30 users or over 20, or you're multi-location or you're a franchise group, you're going to pay per user like we currently charge now, per user seat fee plus the Stripe, because you're going to need things like custom PDFs. You're going to want advanced clients portals. You're going to want advanced integrations like perhaps route planning or tracking on staff or very specialized QuickBooks integrations or Xero, which you get standard on free. So it's like it's meeting I think it's very much meeting the personas on where they are, so that we can give them the functions they need, the simplicity they need, the tools they need, and they can grow with us. But really what we want is 1,000 people on paying using our credit card gateway.
Because the biggest part, Chris, I think that the industry is a little bit different from some other industries, is that those 1 to 3 user companies still have like $1 million in revenue at least. Like as Aaron said, a good sales guy at even a tiny, that's $1 million a year they're bringing in, right? And so at that point, 0.7% of that a lot of, and we did the numbers.
Single person will do that. A single person will do well over $1 million.
Yeah,
easily.
So we're saying that we're looking at the numbers. We're like, these customers would never pay us the amount that we're going to get from Stripe from them.
Yeah,
they would never have paid us anywhere near that much. No way, right? Like, and that's where I think the big difference in this case is it's just there, right?
Well, listen, I'm going to have to race, but when you go live with a pilot, like when can we get to see some results? And like, it sounds freaking exciting. So
it is really cool stuff. It is very cool stuff. I don't know. Before, I mean, we've got for the next couple of, what are we, Aaron? We're getting finance in a bunch of other places there. Probably by the end of the year, we're going to have something pretty cool there running. We're definitely running POCs as we go through because we want to make sure it's all tested. We've got a company helping us out with the AI side of things because I think the biggest, hardest spot that we have no expertise in is getting these prompts right to the AI. Like we can get the data good. Like we're happy with that. But it's like the data is one spot. You need to get these prompts correct to be able to say the instruction to the AI to say, take this thing and make this output. So we've got a company helping us with the middle one who are actually like experts in that prompt engineering stuff. It's really good. But yeah, I don't know. What
end of year we'll have something.
So great test case. I love it. I get it. Like it's awesome. Like it's really, I mean, it's what every software company should be thinking about, to be honest.
I think the biggest thing is just the customization, the onion sort of architecture and stuff we're building.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it done anywhere else at the level we are. Pretty much every other company I've seen that does it, they give up, right? They start with customization, like, screw it, I'm just going to make APIs and make you do it. And then all these customers like, that's too scary. I don't know how to do that. Right? Whereas what we want is to say, we have effectively got two companies here. We have the core team that building the core platform, and we've got the customization team building the customization. We actually have two products. One just sits on top of the other product. So that's the big thing that we're doing very differently in that, you know, it's got different revenue streams, everything. Like the customization is like a per hour revenue stream.
Crazy.
The other one's SaaS,
well,
right?
hopefully, we'll hope it's per hour to configure, and then
it's 100% is. Yeah, 100% is per hour.
Yeah. Right? I mean, that's
it's per hour, and then there's a maintenance fee depending on if we need to keep running it, maintaining it. If it's a once-off thing, it's just configure a product, we do it. There's no maintenance. That's fine. It's just a per hour fee. It just becomes that different layer, like different companies you're talking to essentially. Yeah.
It's good, guys. All right. Probably a few other things we want to talk about, but I've run out of time. But maybe we call later, Aaron, or like next week. But yeah, that's awesome. Can you send me the you've recorded this video?
Yeah,
it's freaking great. Well done. It's like so exciting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I did get a video of the thing. If you have like 10 more seconds, Chris, if you have 10 more seconds, I just want to show you this thing that this is what the guys have built. Again, very, very different from most other SaaSes I know of, right? But knowing that out of the gate, so these are the scripts that we run to actually test the software. Can you see my screen? Is that working? Yeah. So this is what we run every single time we do anything. It runs through the whole system. It knows what buttons do. It adds notes. It adds appointments. It does all this sort of stuff here, right? And this is everything you see here that it's doing, the AI can do, right? Every single thing that it's doing here, right? Adding attachments, uploading files, all this sort of stuff. Anything a human can do, it can do all these things here. And because it's relying on us having it valid and accurate and working, because that's what we test on, we know it's always up to date. But the other coolest part that I did forget, the other part that Chris, that I think that we're doing differently is that most companies don't make videos of how the system works. And the reason they do it is they get out of date really fast. What we have the ability is every single day we can regenerate our demo videos based on the live version of the system that's running. Right? Which no one else can do. Holy grail of that, which is like, I can't make demo videos because they get out of date the day I make it. Well, we just remake them every day using Aaron's stuff. It auto-generates voiceovers and it auto-generates the entire thing based on my scripts here. That's the demo, right? So that's the other cool stuff we can start doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is our automation script. So again, one of the big things that very few SaaSes do is they, like on launch, having 100% automated testing of the entire application is such a thing that nobody ever even thinks of at launch. But that's what we're going to have at launch of the software. 100%.
And you guys are a software company for blinds.
That's right.
It took a little Adelaide blind software company to.
Yeah.
Chris, we have a dev team of 10. Our dev team is like 10 people. That's it. That's the whole dev team, right? Like this isn't a 50-person, 100-person engineering team. We have 10 people doing this. So this is the level we're at. And we don't intend to build it up any further because we don't need to, right? We're trying to work smart, not like lots of more engineers. We just want to get it working in the current DB anyway.
Cool. Hey, just the last thing, I had breakfast yesterday with James Solomon's, Aaron. So I know he's leaning in. So so I think that'll be good for you guys. Like he's pretty switched on with that Sift product. I think that'll be great. So
well, that's something we'll look at. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I've got a race, guys. Good to catch up.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
We chat soon.
Send the video link. Make sure.
I'll send it now.
I'll send you the video I made as well that Goma sent me to, Aaron. I'll send it to Chris.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.